Welcome to the first episode of 2025 of the Fit Family Podcast. Welcome, Dan.
Hello.
Welcome back after a couple of weeks of, still working but not recording, so rest the vocal cords.
Yes.
Of which yours sound blocked.
They do a little bit.
A little cold.
Started the year with a little cold.
Yeah. Obviously I was there for all of it, but how was your Christmas? How's your New Year's? Did you have fun?
Look, it wasn't as rigid as our usual lifestyle.
No.
I would say.
I've been saying to a few people over the past week, we've kind of never had this flexibility before in regards to not being back at the gym and not reopening on a certain date and running classes and everything. So it's been nice to spend some more time with the kids and learn how to ride bikes and spend a bit of time at the Victorian Eye and Ear Hospital as well. Shout out to them. Great work. They do great work.
Yeah, no, it has been a really interesting year. I've loved the conversations that have come out of it, having that constant connection with our clients, whereas normally we have a break. It's like, okay, see you in the new year. Everyone goes on hold, everyone goes on break, whereas this year has looked so different, like all the messages about holidays, the movement on holidays. I love it. It's even more rewarding, I think.
Yeah, although we don't see all of our clients in person the same way, there's still that connection there, which is nice. And I guess it gives our clients the opportunity to kind of use us as much as they see fit. If they need more workouts, or if they've sourced a gym that has equipment and they need to make adjustments, that's been good too. Or just picking our brains on nutrition over the break. It's been nice to kind of disconnect a little bit in regards to where we are when we work, but you and I we're not great at holidays, so it's been nice to kind of still stay involved on a coaching level.
Yeah, we don't like to completely stop very often. I would definitely agree with that. I just came off a call actually with someone and just saying that we've gotten better and better at being flexible as parents as we've gotten older, because I was just talking about being flexible in both exercise and nutrition, because this person has quite a young child at the moment, and I was just saying how it changes as the kids get older, and it's something we've really learnt as our family has grown, and that flexibility piece is just so important, and that's what I feel like we can really assist people with now given our structure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. So we're talking about today, first things first, how to get back on track after a little break in routine. Obviously, a holiday is a break in routine, festive season is a break in routine. I think before we discuss anything, most of our clientele are geared more towards body composition improvements at this stage. So either fat loss or muscle gain, just changing the shape of their body. But I think in order to kind of properly break down our thoughts towards the festive season and what tends to happen, and typically a little bit of an overconsumption of food, which is totally normal, and enjoyed. It's a nice time of year, but you aren't out of shape because of the space in between Christmas and New Year's, but you could well be out of shape because of the space between New Year's and Christmas. That 12 months, and zooming out and taking the time for what it is super important, just to put it in perspective.
Yeah, we have this conversation every year just about that week. Let's call it a week.
Yeah.
Between Christmas and New Year, and people really do put a strong focus on it, and they really try and beat themselves up about it. Whereas think about what that time is meant to be about. So often it is a time where you go away with your family, where there is more food, and that's okay. Yeah,
absolutely. We strongly endorse good nutrition, including food as a means of connection and celebration. In our family, that's certainly the case. Sharing a meal together on Christmas, or with my side of the family, it might be breaking up the gingerbread house and enjoying some gingerbread. Thank you, Axel. He's scratching his ear. Things like that are important, to our family. So, nutritionally speaking, if you wrote it down on paper, would that be something that would be properly healthy? Maybe people would argue that it's not. We argue that it is. Because on a Tuesday in April, our lunch is going to contain protein, carbs, and a green. It's going to be pretty stock standard. So, to allow occasions like that. Now, the people who tend to struggle the most over this period, I would say maybe don't have the best perspective and handling on their nutrition year round. So it kind of pops up at a time where if you're not, if your body composition isn't where it would like to be, or you're struggling a little bit more with your nutrition and training, then it can be just another period where it's like, oh, here's something else that's out of my control. Here's something else that I have to contend with, instead of, oh, this is the time where I can just relax a little bit, zoom out and enjoy it.
Yeah. So if we circle back round to getting back into routine for Jan, just understanding what you've let slip. So having that little kind of assessment piece or that little audit piece. I've been having conversations. Everyone's obviously getting back into the new year, and often we think it's a lot worse than what it is. So, okay, maybe you've had alcohol when you haven't been drinking for the last month. So
You devil.
maybe you've eaten a little bit more.
Sure have.
That's also okay.
Yeah.
But what have you done? Yeah, and this person said to me, every day I made sure I got up and I had a high protein breakfast. I started the day right. Every day I moved. Okay, that's awesome. So we've done a little bit of an assessment here. We haven't let it all go. It hasn't all gone. It's like, well, what do we need to reintroduce again? What is our norm?
You know what the reality is with this time of year as well is, like, it's never as bad as you think it is.
No.
You know, like so prior to Christmas, I was weighing low 85s, and right now is like 86 and a half. It's like 1 kilo. And and the nutrition practices have been pretty dramatically different, like out of the routine, still exercised most days, but like largely my caloric intake is roughly the same. It's just the quality of it's a little bit less. But we are through this time of year, so we are going to look at how to get back into routine, because it can be, just the same kind of challenge that people have when they're establishing a healthy routine. Like, bad habits can creep in a little bit, but let's talk about it. So, blank slate, what are you doing to get back into your regular routine that keeps you fit and well, Dan?
So looking at what I've let drop off.
Yeah.
Is probably I've been going to bed a little bit later.
Oh,
for me.
disaster.
Yeah, I know. I am a stickler for bedtime and I like going to bed early. However, I have been staying up later because William's been staying up later. So just having that extra time, being a little bit more relaxed. He's obviously off school.
Watching a movie on a school night.
Oh,
yeah.
I know, we're wild, aren't we?
Yeah.
So that is definitely something. Also, I would be having more than usual. So I've maintained my meals pretty well in terms of I still like to eat 3 reasonable meals a day, or some may say large.
Death taxes and you're eating 3 meals. It's just something that you refuse to budge on, is that meal frequency.
Absolutely. I haven't snacked this year. However, after dinner, we always have a treat, and I've been having more than I usually would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We've got our homemade Rocky Road in the fridge. We've got some chocolates that have been gifted to us over the past couple of weeks, and after dinner they call our name and we just enjoy a little bit more than we would otherwise watching a movie. That's about it, isn't it? Yeah. We're not crazy different. I think that when it comes to re-establishing what you were doing before the break, like often people can kind of get a little bit down, and it's viewed as, I've taken a step back, and it's like you can't truly go backwards because of what you learn along the way. So the best analogy I've got is like the time it takes you to get fit is always far longer than the time it takes you to get fit again. So like that first time, like you have the experience, you know what to do, but knowing what you need to do and then trying to go from 0 to 100 again, or going from 60 to 100 again, just focus on your next meal. It's like, okay, so what can I do next? What can I do next that was much like the 10th of December compared to the 28th? And just taking it step by step in that regard is going to be the best way for you to kind of rebuild the momentum. Because I think that kind of spluttering, I'm just struggling to get into my groove, the fastest way to get into your groove is to start doing the actions that help you feel good and strong.
Yeah. So again, coming back to that assessment piece, you need to know where you're currently at. So where Ben's saying, we need to build And that is true. We don't want to overwhelm. So people are obviously crippled. Like they just don't know where to start. Like I've let it all go. They don't actually realize they haven't.
Yeah.
So it's a really important piece. I've just said to people today, I'm assigning you a food diary. Let's actually see what's fallen away, and we'll pick something to work on and build to.
One thing that can elongate that time of kind of feeling out of routine is also stopping your measurements. So, because you feel as though the last week or two has been a little bit more out of control or suboptimal, or maybe you've just let your hair down completely, you kind of refuse to do your body measurements or your progress pictures or jump on the scales because you think it will be bad news.
Funny, did you see I updated my weight this morning?
I did, yeah.
I was like, I have to, because we're always on it, people. Do it. Know where you're at.
Yeah, and that is purely because we often know, and we know that it's never as bad as you think it is. And this is obviously geared more towards composition clients, so people with a fat loss goal. But just because you feel rubbish doesn't mean you've gained 3 kgs.
Yeah.
You could have just had a crap sleep, and now you feel rubbish.
Yeah.
And be exactly the same, or you may be like me, and as you said, the meals have been relatively constant, but I've eaten a bit more gingerbread house, or I've had some more rocky road, and then you get on the scales, it's like, a kilo, that's it. It's basically water weight. It's to gain a kilo of fat, you will need to have eaten an extra 7,700 calories on top of what your maintenance level of eating is. That's a hell of a lot of food in a short period of time.
Oh, yeah.
So, that extra weight you're carrying is likely because of the quality of your diet, slightly more carbohydrate heavy, just because that's what treats tend to be made up of, like foods,
alcohol.
like sweets, alcohol, whatever it is. So as a result of that, for every gram of carbohydrate that you eat, your body holds 4 milliliters of water.
Correct.
So that extra 200 grams of carbs that you've eaten over the past week or so equals up to a kilo of extra body weight. Not a kilo of extra body fat, but a kilo of extra body weight. So the fastest way to get back into it is understanding all of these things, not being emotionally hung up on it, and just start to do the actions that you were doing before.
Yep.
Use a week as a runway. Don't just go 0 to 100. Just slowly build your way up, and you'll be back into it before you know it.
Yeah. Also, the conversations we've been having are like, don't wait for I'm back at work. Okay, so for example, if you've been on holidays between Christmas and New Year, we stay with family over that time. It looks very different for us compared to the normal person and our normal life. Some people go away with their family, some people go away alone. Obviously, there's a lot more restrictions in terms of, or challenges, I guess. People tend to buy their food a lot more. They don't have their usual amenities available. As soon as you get back, you can start changing things. You don't need to wait till you're back at work to make your lunch. Little things like that, they all make a difference.
Yeah, for sure. And little hinges swing big doors. So, if you feel as though you've taken a step back and it's like, all right, well, I need to hit a home run tomorrow. It's not really the case. You just need to get up and do the thing.
Yeah.
Just do the thing, get some exercise in, get a little endorphin hit, and everything will feel a little bit easier. There's nothing that can't be solved with a good sleep and a good workout, because it will put you in the right type of mood just to get back into your actions. You're laughing because, okay, so full disclosure, I dropped a gag and it just went straight over Dan's head, and it actually made you look a bit dumb.
And then he disconnected the microphone.
I didn't mean to.
Because he was trying to be a comedian.
I didn't mean to. What I said was...
The funny guy.
What I said was, that's a quote from Mahatma Gandhi, and you just powered on as though that's true, and I'm like, well, I can't have this, because now people actually think that you think that Gandhi said that.
Oh.
Anyway,
Can we
Gandhi
continue
did not say
Okay,
that a good sleep and
okay.
a workout will cure all.
All right, we got that.
Okay.
Now, what were we on? You see, you've thrown...
I've derailed the whole podcast.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying that if you
Oh,
want to
yes.
feel good, you
Yes.
just need to get
Yes.
back into
Correct.
routine. Just follow on the next
Because
action.
how often do we hear this? People write off the month of January. They wait. Let's wait till the kids are back at school.
Yeah. Yeah, well, of course, because lots of people are waiting for the perfect conditions to start anything.
There is a very big difference between Christmas and New Year and Christmas and the end of Jan.
Yeah, exactly. So using that 7,700 calorie amount again, it's really easy to eat 500 calories more than your maintenance level over the course of a month, and then gain 3 kilos than it is to eat, over the course of a week and sort of get back to somewhere near normal. 100%. Yeah. But I think a lot of people drastically overestimate, I should say, the damage they can do in a week, and then underestimate the damage you can do in a month. And when I say damage, I mean, you know what I mean. I don't mean like catastrophic damage. I just mean that you can step back in a month. It's very hard to step back in a week.
Agree. So just understanding that and implementing little pieces as soon as you can is going to be your best bang for buck.
Yeah, so something that I talk about a lot is a ripple habit. So something that is small but will then impact a lot of other little things. So instead of having a to-do list of 10 to 15 actions in your day, it's like, okay, well, if I'm going to have a healthy day, then I have to do 1 to 15. Having 3 big things that will impact a lot of other smaller things is going to be much easier to follow. So, sleep will have a massive impact. Some kind of movement will have a massive impact. And typically with most people, your first meal of the day being pretty optimal will have a big impact on the nutrition choices that you make through the rest of the day. So if you just focus on those 3 things, then everything will just about be okay, rather than trying to have a huge amount of control over the amount of water you drink, and then the amount of vitamin D you get, and then the amount of squats you do, and the amount of steps you do, and the amount, like everything. Because as soon as 2 or 3 of those things don't go to plan, it can feel like a failure, instead of it getting the 3 big ones. Enough sleep, movement, focus on the first meal of the day.
Yeah.
Simples. Which still leaves space for some Rocky Road and gingerbread, or a mince pie, or whatever it is you like to enjoy over the holidays.
Yeah, we're not saying, throw all of it out, get back into... People also, I think this is a great opportunity for people to realise just how far they've come. I was saying to someone, your new norm, like you feel like you've fallen off the bandwagon, but your new norm is so much higher than what it used to be. Which
is actually a great little tease for our online PT clients. We do have a reflection and projection activity for you guys over the next few days that we're going to assign on TrueCoach, just so you can look back and then project ahead. What is going to be, the health and fitness goals that you're chasing this year, and how can we best support you in that? And, but also in that, reflecting on the past 12 months and what went well, what was hard, lessons, takeaways. I was reading a quote the other day, and it's like, the irony of life is that it's lived in the future, but we only learn from the past. So it's like, in order to then have the best possible chance at a good present and future, you must then look back at what worked, that went well, that didn't, that went really well, and just to give yourself the best chance at a successful 12 months.
Yeah. Yep, so good.
A philosopher is my next form, I've decided.
Yes. We did ask if anyone had any questions, and we did have a few people message us privately, and someone in the group was mentioning sleep. So yeah, it doesn't necessarily, it's not just exercise and nutrition, but all types of behaviors that fall under our lifestyle all have a big impact. So for me, sleep actually is one of them, and that does have a big impact often on many people for their nutrition.
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, if you wake up exhausted, obviously you're going to be much less likely to want to do a workout, or you're going to be much less likely to go and do a big walk. But not only that, your body will kind of subconsciously impact your NEAT, your fidgeting, your want to sit down compared to your, I'm going to go tidy up. I'm just looking out our back window and it's like, I'm going to go tidy up those leaves. I would be less likely to do that if I was tired.
Those
Shush.
leaves have been there a while, Ben.
Shush. I'm using this as an example. I'm funneling them out through the green bin, and it's going to take till June to get rid of them. But what I'm just saying is your body starts to shut down a little bit to preserve energy. And it's the same with your nutrition. If you don't get enough sleep, then it does impact your hunger hormones over the course of the next day. You are going to feel hungry all day. And what do we know is the silent killer of all diets?
Yeah.
Hunger.
Yeah.
If you are hungry, then you are thinking about food constantly. If your ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone, is elevated, then it does make adhering to what you might normally eat or what you might normally try and practice with your nutrition really difficult.
Yeah.
Really difficult. That's not in your head. That is physiology.
Yeah.
Science.
Yeah. Also, getting back into those habits of saying, we talk about this all the time, saying no to people. So people often, you have more social things. December's massive for the calendar. For many people, that's often what we're talking about, managing those social occasions.
Parties, catch-ups.
Absolutely. So if you're trying to get back into a routine, it is okay to occasionally decline something or change a time or suggest something else, or you don't, just because it's January, it doesn't mean you are obliged any more or less to do something. So just understanding what is working for you, your family, your life at that time, and prioritizing that.
Yeah, of course. And that's just an element of control that you can take back over the actions, instead of feeling like a victim of a holiday.
Yeah.
Or a victim of the month because you couldn't do exactly what you wanted to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've also had another one just talking about metrics. So this person has measured themselves, and they're mentally they feel like they've gone backwards because of those measurements, and they're asking what's the best way to get into a good mindset, basically to refocus for 2025.
Yeah, mindset's action based. Just start to do the actions. Like, instead of hitting there, dwelling on it, just get into it.
Yeah.
Nail your next meal. Or
Yeah.
go for a walk. Build confidence through competence. Get competent in your actions again and push on.
Yeah.
Like, in a week, remeasure, you'll be back to normal.
Spot on. So I actually spoke to this person yesterday, and you're already doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're reassessing right now, and obviously what comes out of that, we'll be able to introduce some new things, and you're already doing that. So well done.
I used to talk about it giving yourself the opportunity to win with a couple of nutrition clients, where it's like, well, if you are going on a holiday and you're going to let your hair down a little bit and have a bit of a relax and enjoy that, and then come home and beat yourself up about a few extra centimeters or a kg on the scales, then what are we doing? Like, how
do you want that or not?
Yeah. How are you going to enjoy that and then come home and feel as though it hasn't served your health well? It's like, just pick an outcome that you're comfortable with and then accept both the pros and cons of that outcome. Like, if you've been away, had a great time, come back and you're a kilo heavier, so what? So what? You had a great time, come back, straight back into routine. If you're expecting to go away, have a great time, and come home 2 kilos lighter, then I don't know what your version of a great time is.
Yeah.
Because you've probably been a little bit over restrictive on the holiday, stressed about every meal occasion and got your workouts in, and not fully just relaxed and come back replenished and refreshed. Bless you.
Thank you.
But I do think it's one of those things, like, you need to set the goalposts and then be comfortable with where that lies.
And also, if that is you going away and wanting to do your workouts and coming home 2 kilos lighter, good on you.
Yeah, well, you will then not feel, overly stressed with every meal because you are doing something that fuels you. But I do think it is important that you just, set the expectations early and then stick to them when you come home. You cannot be disappointed. You cannot be disappointed if you've had a good time, you caught up with your family, and you come back and it's like, kilo, so what? That'll be gone in a week. Let's go.
Yeah.
Straight back into it.
I think people struggle to accept or understand what they actually like and what they want.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to go away and drink for a month and come home and expect to be lighter and then be upset about it, like you're saying,
Yeah.
like,
You're a goose.
that's a bit silly.
Yeah.
Okay, like, that's not something that I'd be willing to accept for myself. That's not something I do.
Well, it's also just not reality. So, we like to live in a fairly black and white world where every action will have an outcome. And if that's the actions you are choosing to take, then make sure you don't get upset at the outcomes that come with that.
Yeah, but my point is, do you want it? Like, what do you want?
Yeah, I want to have a great time on holiday because I know that my normal weekly routine for 50 weeks of the year or for 48 weeks of the year is health conscious and I'm in control of my health. So, a month spread out over the course of the year with a couple of holidays is no big deal.
Yeah.
Great.
See, whereas someone like me, we're often quite different on holidays.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Well, yeah, that wasn't actually me personally, but yes,
Okay.
we are slightly different.
So, and just understanding that, like you understand that I'm different to you, and you understand that, okay, well, if Danni doesn't get out for a workout, it's probably not going to be the most enjoyable holiday for her.
For me either, for God's sake. Yeah. Do you think about that? Stuff you. I'm thinking about my sanity. You think you're a pleasure to be around?
So that's something that I am not willing to sacrifice for a holiday. Whereas that is something that a lot of people are, and that's fine.
Yeah,
like just understanding that and accepting that is the piece. I don't let people tell me that I shouldn't.
Yeah. And
no, that's actually something I want to do.
Obviously, we're talking about it now in past tense because it's not as though you can go back and, if I had the chance to do my holiday again. We're more now talking on it from the acceptance of what was. But, you're not going to get anything done by just constantly reflecting on what you did or what you didn't do. So take the lessons from that, look ahead to next year, but the best thing you can do right now is just get right back to what you were doing before.
Yeah, I would agree.
Get your workout in, get your breakfast in, power on with the day. If you're feeling a little bit of extra fluff, get some more steps in. Up your steps a little bit.
If you're feeling lost, reach out.
Yeah, that too. If you're fluffy and lost, we're here for a chat. We'll point you on the right path. Most of the other chat in the group was largely based around extra treats in the fridge, which is available to everyone. What do we got? Rocky Road, Toblerone, mince pies, call into us.
I've never understood the mince pies.
I like a mince pie. Actually, you know who you are. If you've got mince pies on the kitchen bench calling out to you all day, get them out of your eyesight. Just a really easy one. Like, if I had foods that I wanted to be in
this
my
is true.
consciousness...
He hides things at the back of the fridge.
Yeah. If I open up the pantry and treats are in my eye line, I don't want that. And this is literally how much of a chimp brain I have. And most humans, by the way, like, put the barrier to, and I'm doing quotation marks with my hands, so this is great radio. Put the barrier to failure.
You say that every podcast.
Yeah, I know, because I'm trying to make a point. Put the barrier to failure higher. Whereas if I had a bowl of M&Ms on my kitchen bench, guess who's picking a couple every time he goes past? If I have a bowl of M&Ms behind the pickles, olives, fruit, yogurts in the fridge, well, that's a pain in the ass. I don't have to move all that stuff to get to it, so it's a much more considered decision. Now,
He's lazy, guys. He's super lazy outside of dedicated exercise.
I'm a lazy idiot. And still, I do that, and it helps a lot. So if your treats are out on the kitchen bench, just put them away, out of sight, out of mind.
I'm gonna record where the treats are in our fridge. It's actually quite funny.
That is legitimate nutrition advice that works. You are laughing. I promise you it works. Put it away. Heighten the barrier to failure. It's not really a failure, you know what I mean. And then, when you want them, you will get them.
Wow. I don't need to do that, but okay.
Yeah, I'm writing a book on human behaviour.
Good on you.
One day. Anything else to add?
No.
Get right back in it.
Bring on 2025.
Yeah, I know. Start of something big, hopefully.
Love it.
Chat soon.
Bye.